Hey everybody, here's a little thing that you might find helpful in debugging or troubleshooting problems with your rig. So in this particular rig, the character has very large sleeves, and so I decided I wanted to have a bone similar to what I do for the bottom of his oversized jersey or for women's skirts. I have a bone that allows you just to move that. And so you can move that sleeve independently. Now I don't worry about this overlap here because I just set the bone during the animation appropriately. But that way the sleeve can have a little bit more life to it as his arm moves and can swing either side of the arm. And if I decide that I wanted to move this arm in, I can even change the length of the sleeve if I want to, or I could even move it a little bit independently just to adjust it a little bit. So that's what I added for that particular sleeve. But when I did that, I noticed something, and here's the issue. Notice now as I move this lower arm, his upper arm doesn't move as it would for most characters. So for example here, when I move the lower leg, the upper leg moves. So what's going on here? I don't know. Well, I've already kind of given you a hint of that, because what's happening here is that if we look at the parents, let me go to the parent here, and there's a lot of bones here, so let me zoom in a little bit. But we can see that the chest goes to the collarbone, which goes to the arm, but there are two bones that are connected. What I mean by that, there are two bones that are connected to this upper arm bone. And so we've got the lower arm bone and we've got this extra sleeve bone. So whenever that happens, then what's called the inverse kinematics, that's what allows you to move one bone in the chain, and it affects the other bones. So for example, like we said, moving this lower leg, or moving the upper body, and it affects this other one. So that's what's happening, is that there are two bones that are children of this upper arm bone. That's what the problem is. So the way that you can fix that is all that you have to do is select that bone, and we can select more than one bone at the same time, and go to Bone Constraints, and there's an option there that says Ignored by Inverse Kinematics. So click on that and select Close. And so now as I move, let me go ahead and make a change to things. So now as I move the lower arm, notice that the upper arm is moved as well. And so what we did again is we selected these bones that we don't really want to be controlling the other ones. We set the Ignored by Inverse Kinematics. You just select them with the control click. Oops, got to go back to frame 0 here. And I'm going to, or actually all I have to do is select the right tool, and Ignored by Inverse Kinematics. Now, one other point you may want to be aware of is that solves this issue, but as a result, this sleeve bone is not going to be able to move with this manipulation tool. Just use the rotation tool, and so now it can rotate or scale or move independently. So, I hope that's helpful.